King Prelimir, 962 to 990. The last year of King Tietzimir's reign was marked by fighting in some border areas parts of Serbia. Immediately after ascending to the throne, the new king Prelimir achieved several military victories, established order and consolidated power throughout Serbia. Byzantium attacked Serbia again and entered Raška with an army. Ban of Raška escaped and came to King Prelimir in Onogost, where the king was then a guest of the prefect of Onogost. The Ban was accompanied by his son Radigrad and daughter Prehvala, who was famous for her beauty. The king immediately took praise for his wife, and he then went with an army to Raška, expelled the Byzantines, and returned the Ban to duty. From his marriage to Prehval, King Prelimir had 4 sons: Hvalimir, Boleslav, and Dragoslav the Almighty, and the Svevlad. When they grew up, he appointed all 4 sons to the positions of Ban: Hvalimir in Duklja, Boleslav in Trebinje, which was still the capital of Serbia, Dragoslav in Helmania, which some write as Hernania, and a banat that corresponds approximately to today's western Bosnia and part of Dalmatia. Helmania started in north from the river Sava and in the south it ended with Adriatic Sea, between the river Krka in the west and behind Biokovo in the east, including the parish of Imotski. Svevlad received the banat of Podgorje, which was located north of the banat of Trebinje, encompassing Piva in the east and Rama in the west. Prelimir's brother Krešimir was Ban of Croatia, and his banat stretched between the rivers Krka and Zrmanja. The parishes of Lika, Krbava and Gatska formed a special banat. Ban Krešimir died in 980. His son, older son Svetoslav, tried to succeed him as Ban, but his younger brother Držislav rebelled against him and took away his banat. King Prelimir was buried in the church of St. Petar in Raška. King Silvestar. King Prelimir was succeeded by his cousin Silvestar, who was Ban of Bosnia before coming to the throne of Serbia. During the reign of King Silvestar, the Croatian Ban Držislav asked the Byzantine Emperor Vasily II for symbols of royal dignity. Vasily sent Držislav some royal signs, it is not known exactly what kind, on a condition that he and his descendants pay an annual tribute to the Byzantine Emperor. Emperor Vasily gave Držislav the title of Imperial Eparch, and Držislav himself called himself the King of Dalmatia and Croatia. Taking that title, Držislav revealed his intention that he does not want to be the only king of Croatia, but primarily to be king of Dalmatia. After all, Croatia was just a small banat that did not go beyond the old Liburnia. Thus, Držislav Ostrivojević, the grandson of King Tietzimir, later known as Stefan Držislav, became the first king of Croatia. There were Croats in following municipalities: Zadar, Benkovac, Knin, Šibenik, Sinj, and a few in Split. King Silvestar did not want to recognize Držislav's royal title, so in 994 he prepared for a military campaign against him. The campaign did not take place because Silvestar died suddenly. Thus, the Serbian dynasty of Ostrivojevići became the Croatian dynasty and the founder of Croatian kingdom. King Tugimir, 994 to 1000 year. King Tugimir was the son of King Silvestar. One of his most significant works was the construction of the new town of Ribnica, Podgornica, in 995. Since the Croats got their kingdom so easily, they became clumsy and began to attack their neighbors, especially the free cities. In order to defend themselves from Croatian attacks, the people of Zadar asked help from Serbia, asking them to send the Neretva navy to help them. The towns of Kvarner region asked for help from Venetians. The Venetians were allies of Byzantium and under its protection, so the Byzantine Emperor Basil II wanted to use this opportunity to occupy Dalmatia. Since he was busy on the other side, he persuaded the Venetians to do it for him. Emperor Basil then gave the Venetian Doge Pietro Orseol II the title of Protospator and strategist of the whole of Dalmatia, and sent him to occupy the Dalmatian coast. Orseolo first expelled the Croats from Pag in 998, and then came to Zadar and received envoys from Rab, Krk, and Osor, who recognized him as their protector. King Držislav built a new city, Belgrade on Sea, and put his capital there because he did not have any of the most important places in Dalmatia under his administration. There were two cities of that name in Serbia at that time, Belgrade on the Danube and Belgrade below Tomor. Since he was beaten and suppressed everywhere, Držislav tries to get peace from Oresol and sends him a message to Zadar with rich gifts. The Doge did not want to receive any message or the gifts. Only next year, Orseolo's Introgir dictated to Držislav peace conditions in 5 points, namely that Croats do not pirate at sea, do not join Serbs, not to damage the free Dalmatian cities, to pay a tenth part of the land that they use that is not theirs, and the fishing can be under the condition which is set by Dalmatians, and that King Držislav give his son Stefan as a hostage. The city of Split, where Orseolo arrived in 1000, also came under Doge's protection. In the same year, long and fierce battles between Serbs and Venetians for Korčula and Mljet, and both islands eventually remained in Serb hands. Thus, Dalmatian cities, except Dubrovnik, after more than 50 years as part of Serbia, again fell under Byzantine protection with a direct Venetian rule. Kings Hvalimir 1000 to 1002, Petrislav 1002, Dragimir 1011, and Vladimir II 1002 to 1060. King Tugimir was succeeded by Hvalimir, the eldest son of King Prelimir. He stayed special known as the builder of towns of Konjic and Venac on Vrbas river. He ruled for a short time and left Serbia divided into three parts, with 3 of his sons in charge: Petrislav, Miroslav, and Dragimir. Immediately after Hvalimir's death, his sons decided to unite all 3 parts under one ruler. Dragimir handed over his share to his brother Miroslav, who decided to hand everything over to his eldest brother Petrislav. On the way to his brother, who was in Shkodra, the boat capsized and Miroslav drowned in Skadar Lake. That is how Petroslav was left alone as a ruler, but he was not lucky either. He died in vain in the same year and was succeeded by his son Vladimir II. As soon as he ascended the throne, Vladimir was attacked by the new Serbian-Bulgarian Emperor Samuilo Nikolic. King Vladimir did not want a war between Serbs and tried to dissuade Samuilo from his war intentions. It all ended with Vladimir marrying Samuil's daughter Kosara in 1002, so the two rulers became friends and allies. When Samuilo died in 1014, he was succeeded by his son Gavrilo Radomir. The Byzantine Emperor Vasily persuaded Radomir's cousin Vladislav to kill the Emperor Radomir and thus became the emperor and Byzantine ally. Vladislav really, in 1016, secretly killed Emperor Radomir. Fearing that Vladimir might take revenge for the murder of his brother-in-law, Vladislav invited him as a guest and killed him in a church at the moment when he bent down in prayer on May 22, 1016. Hvalimir's son Dragimir, who previously handed over his part of the kingdom to his brother in order to make Serbia remain united, he was killed in 1011. Emperor Vasily bribed a group of conspirators from Kotor to kill Dragimir during his visit to Kotor. These conspirators killed Dragimir in Church of St. Gabriel below Kotor. After the assassination of Emperor Jovan Vladislav Nikolic in 1018, Emperor Vasily occupied Shkodra and there appointed his military crew and commissioners to rule Serbia. All those murders of rulers and all those accidents around the throne completely paralyzed Serbia and enabled Byzantiums and Venetians to establish themselves in Dalmatia.